signs you could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
Alright, today is June 30th, 2022. It is 6:03 a.m. Let's refresh this before I start the video. See what's going on. Okay, so it's 6:03. This video just came out. Alright, and let's see how this is doing. Alright, this is a video I upload onto YouTube. I went over it on my last video, showing you the back end, why most of my videos have to be scheduled at a later date because YouTube always flag my videos. All right, but anyway, let's not focus on that. What I want to do today on this video is to read this article from Vogue. All right, so it's Gloria Steinem, the Duchess of Sussex, and Jessica Yellin on abortion rights, the era, and why they won't give up hope. All right, June 28th. That was a couple days ago. All right, on June 26, 2 days after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, Jessica Yellin, the award-winning journalist and founder of the independent media company News Not Noise, called the two people she knew could put the seismic event into perspective. The first, Gloria Steinem; the second, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. And both of these ladies met already. I have a video where they have their little conversation. I don't know. I forgot what I said in that video, but I did highlight it in a video. Steinem, the face of American feminism, and Meghan, a vocal advocate for paid leave and fair labor rights for women, have been friends since 2020, after Meghan learned that they were both sheltering in place in Montecito, California, she asked if Steinem wanted to help her make calls, thanking voter registration organizers. Steinem agreed. All right. The connection soon blossomed into an alliance, and for the past several months, Steinem and Meghan have been formulating a plan to get the Equal Rights Amendment satisfied. Quote, it will explicitly extend to women the rights granted in the Constitution to men, Yellin tells Vogue. And continue, the era Equal Rights Amendment will change the playing field for women's reproductive rights, women's workplace rights, and so much more. For decades, Steinem has been advocating for its enactment, and now Meghan is joining in. This is the thing. When we team up, all right, when we team up, we become a force to reckon with. It's not to backstab and stuff like that. Steinem, like they say here, have been in it for a very long time. So these people, these women are dying out. They're getting older. Their energy is not the same anymore. As you get older, you're frail, and you're not that young anymore. So it's good that Meghan is getting a cue, okay, learning from her as well. I know many times when I say Meghan is learning from other people, I get that huge backlash. Like Meghan's supposed to know everything. I don't know. But she's learning. Meghan is learning from those people who have walked the walk, talked the talk, and put their money where their mouth is. Okay? So, that's that. That's what came to mind. Just in case some of you come after me. I've had that before. Not lately, but at the beginning of my channel. Alright, so when the Supreme Court's ruling came down, Yellin decided to moderate a conversation between the two advocates about their own reproductive choices, the realities of America pre-Roe and post-Roe, and most importantly, where the country goes from here. Quote, I entered this conversation feeling disoriented by the new reality, anxious that there is no clear path forward. Opponents of abortion built so much infrastructure over so many years. That's because so many people were not paying attention. They've been at it, when you're cutting down a tree, you don't do it all at once if you do it manually, but, you chop until you take it down. So they did their homework. But guess what? We could learn from that. Now that we know, because many of us were too comfortable. We were too comfortable. Everything will be all right. Most people, I'm pretty sure there's some people who still don't get it. They will only get it when it affects them. When they have to go to court to see all the black, the roadblock that they have to jump. Okay, that's when they will realize it. Too many people have been too comfortable. This is why so many activists are out there advocating for so many different things. We may not like some of the things they're advocating for, but we need to pay attention to what they are advocating for. See how it affects you. All right, let's continue. I went off. All right, but I have to do that. Especially this, when I read articles, I need to do that. So I don't just read the article without, saying something. It's almost like when I put videos of somebody else into my video, you just let it play. That'll be somewhat of a copyright because I'm just reading it to you. So I need to input my opinion into those things. I treat articles just like I treat the videos, other people's videos. Okay? How can that be answered quickly, and how many lives will be destroyed in the meantime? Yellin said, and she continued, for now, some women will be denied basic life-saving medical care because of a power struggle and a dysfunctional political system. But after this conversation, I was reminded that change starts with simple action, and deadly setbacks, that's right, sometimes precede transformational change. Read their wide-ranging conversation below. All right, so this is the conversation. So that was the introduction to that conversation. Okay, Jessica Yellin. I hear from so many people, they're feeling panic, confusion. They're looking for guidance on what to do now. Let's talk about the immediate impact of this ruling. Women in 13 states are seeing their reproductive right vanish. These are the women who keeps on voting Republican. Because without their help, many of those people who are in office will not be there. They think it's about black and white, Democrat versus Republican, but they forgot the main issue. I'm telling you, the Republican, they love when people are confused. They love it because they are the receiving end of it. While they're telling people this is who they are, when there's confusion in between, they get they just walk right in and do what they need to do. All right. And another 13, they'll likely be severely restricted. Tens of millions of women will have to make brutal choices. We know that some will die. For people who were born after 1973 and have no idea what that was like, will you tell us a little about the reality of being a pregnant woman before Roe? This is the part that I was saying at the beginning of this video that Meghan will learn from. All right. So people who were born before that, or after, not before, after that, don't understand the struggle women were going through. So by the time they're born, Meghan's time, my time, okay, so the stage have been set for us to just walk through. We never understand the struggle. So many people my age took it for granted. They didn't understand the let's say, for instance, you have running water in your house. You could use the bathroom, you flush and all of that. We don't understand the struggle before that. So everything was set on a silver platter, pretty much silver platter. We never appreciate it. So now we're going back. The man wants to take us back. All right. And this is where Steinem come into play. Explain to Meghan, who will learn from that. And I'm pretty sure Meghan read. She probably already know. But knowing firsthand from people who experience it is a completely ball game from just reading a book. All right. So that's that. There's Gloria Steinem here speaking. There were underground network, most famously Jane Fonda. That's the name That's the name I was thinking of. That's the name, Jane Fonda, who married, now they divorced, the CNN founder and stuff like that. She was I was mentioning her before and I couldn't think of the name. Jane Fonda, that's the name. All right, let's start over. Gloria Steinem. There were underground network, most famously Jane. Who's Jane she's talking about? There's a link to it. Okay, that is where you call up a particular number and ask for Jane, and that meant you needed an abortion. And there were women who bravely guided you. In my situation, I was in London, not this country, when I needed an abortion, and was lucky to find a physician in the equivalent of the Yellow Pages who said, I don't think young people know about Yellow Pages. Do they know what that means? That's where the phone book, you look up names and stuff like that. For phone numbers. All right, let's see here. When I needed an abortion and was lucky to find a physician in the equivalent of the Yellow Pages who said that if I promise him two things: one, that I will never tell anyone his name, and two, that I will do what I wish to do with my life, he will send me to a woman doctor who will do the abortion. I dedicate my book to him. Wow, he's no longer with us, so I thought it was okay finally after all these years to do that. Wow. Okay, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. That gave me chills, Gloria. Also, that you were in the hands of someone who understood that it was your choice to create the life that you wanted for yourself. That's so powerful. There it is. All right. There's this. Gloria Steinem. GS. Yes, I kept my promise. Without him, I would have been stopped there. I was working as a waitress in London, waiting for my visa to India, where I had a fellowship. I wouldn't have been able to do that. My life would have stopped there. Wow. Meghan, for women who live in the state where trigger laws have already gone into effect, they will learn quickly that life was like before Roe. Meghan, this is having very real impact on women's body and lives starting now. Women are already sharing stories of how the physical safety is being put in danger. Women with resources will travel to get an abortion. Those without might attempt to give themselves one at tremendous risk. Some will have to source abortion pill from unregulated pharmacies. Others who are pregnant and find themselves in a medical emergency will be at the mercy of doctors and lawyers to determine if a procedure that is needed to save her life can even be done at all. What does this tell women? It tells us that our physical safety doesn't matter, and as a result, that don't matter, but we do. Women matter. That this is one of the reasons that I call Gloria immediately, because in all of it, she reminds me that when you have anger, you have to channel the energy into something that makes a difference. That's what activism is. It's about how we show up. That's exactly that. And the other thing is, I bookmark some tweets, but I haven't had time to record them. Even before I went on that mini vacation, I have some tweets I haven't even recorded. Is that when I was reading some of those tweets, there were women who were already telling their stories. There was a nurse who was in a car. Was she crying? Or it looked like she was about to cry. A woman who needed an emergency procedure. The doctors were afraid to do the procedure because they didn't want to lose their license. Okay, so that woman is bleeding while the doctor is on a phone call with lawyers and all of that. So this is the spot where we're gonna be in. This is the situation that we are putting ourselves in for not voting the right way. And some of us don't even bother to go on the voting booth. This is the price we have to pay. Alright, GS, Meghan, I owe this friendship to you because I did not realize that in California, where I was sheltering on a friend's ranch, we were neighbors. Or at least what is called neighbors in California, which means you're what, a half hour away. I laugh at this as well when I go to my sister-in-law. When she says, oh, it's a block away, because I live in a city and stuff like that. A block is a walking distance. It's about maybe 400, 800 feet or something like that. That's a block, a square block, whatever. Okay, when she says it's 1 block away, you have to take the car and drive. So that just reminds me of that. My husband and I always laugh about that. And I said, give me time. How many miles? Don't tell me it's a block away. Because in my head, I'm thinking a block, like I'm in the city. All right, laugh. It was you who realized that and came to the farmhouse where I was. Then we sat at the dining room table and made a cold calls together. Meghan, I was thrilled. I was nervous too. I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to be in front of Gloria Steinem? Okay, the presidential election was coming up soon, and we both knew the value of women and everyone getting out to vote. The ripple effect of election matters so much, and that's what we're seeing now, unfortunately. That's right. All right, Gloria Steinem, GS. A big part of the problem, of course, is that we have a Supreme Court that does not represent the country. There it is. That reminds me again of what's that guy, something O'Donnell. One of his shows, when I had cable, I used to watch him at night. And then is it before or after Rachel Maddow? And one of his segments, he said the most important part when it comes to voting for a president is the Supreme Court, because they make the suggestion of who's gonna be in the Supreme Court. All right, the president, that's the president's job to make that suggestion, and then for the Senate to interview that particular potential judge and make the call. All right, so this is what happened. People then, white women vote for Trump in 2016, and white women vote for Trump again for the 2020 election. So if it wasn't majority of other people, and some men as well, Republican men, I highlighted on some of my videos leading to the election, some white Republican were not voting for Trump, okay, because of the reason was so stupid, but I was like, okay, I'll take it. At least you're not gonna vote for him. That's one less vote for him. So this is why he had to go to that extreme measure where the January 6th committee is going on, to keep power. So when people vote, we get garbage out of there. Okay, so that's that. Okay, let's see here. Gloria Steinem. A big part of the problem, of course, is that we have a Supreme Court that does not represent the country. Perhaps because, as that came to mind, some of you don't like when I interrupt like that. I think there should be a law when there is that huge outcry like this, where the Supreme Court take it upon themselves to dictate how people are supposed to live their lives like that. This is where some of the rulings, the laws go back to the people, where the people make the choice. Okay? Vote for it, and if the country accepts it, to overwrite the Supreme Court judges. Okay? And I know how the Republican works. They will keep on bringing that over and over until, they find a tactic to get rid of it. But this, I think this is a law that must be put in place, because whether or not we have the minority being controlled by the country is controlling by not what represent the country, this kind of thing, when there's that huge outcry, this kind of law needs to go back to the people. The people have to vote for it and say, yes, I agree with it, or no, I disagree. Once the people talk, that's the final word. You cannot have a group of people, a handful of people, to dictate how people are supposed to live. There should be a law for that. All right, let's continue. Gloria Steinem. A big part of the problem, of course, is that we have a Supreme Court that does not represent the country. Perhaps because I've been here longer, which means I've been here before. I say we are going to do what we need and wish to do. Something like 1 in 3 American women had an abortion when it was illegal. The need and the right to govern one's own body continues. We need to translate it into political reality. Exactly. All right. Now that we know, okay, the scary part, one of the scary parts, because there's going to be many scary parts. One of the scary parts that we were afraid of, it's here. It's reality. Okay, they overturn it. They send it back to states. Okay, where majority of the Republican states are governed by men who's aligned with them, because they already know this is how they want the states to run. All right, when majority of people are crying foul, this is where the law should, that particular law, go back to the people. The people should vote and say whether or not they agree for it. All right, many of the states are banning abortion. Meghan are also those with the highest rate of maternal and infant mortality, especially for black women. Across the US, black women are almost 3 times more likely than white women to die in pregnancy or childbirth. What do you think? They purposely doing that because they don't want dark skin. So they'll try their best to save a white skin, but a dark skin, no. All right, and black infants have twice the mortality rate of white infant. How concerned are you that this ruling will have an outsized impact on those women, and what specifically worry you? Meghan, these issues are systemic, interconnected, and preventable. Women of color, and especially black women, are most impacted by these decisions because most of us don't have the same access to healthcare, economic opportunity, mental health resources. The list goes on. It's difficult to overstate what this decision is going to do to these communities. And the other thing also is that when it comes to communities with, you know, medical access and all of that, what came to mind when I was reading it is that doctor who had COVID, she recorded herself where she was not getting the care that she needed. All right, and she died. She recorded it. I probably have it in one of my videos at the beginning of the pandemic. All right, so she died. All right. Gloria Steinem. When I first entered into this struggle for reproductive freedom as a fundamental human right, it was the 70s. Ruth Ginsburg was with the ACLU, and she sent me to Alabama to talk to black women who had been sterilized without her knowledge or permission when she went into a hospital for something else entirely. Wow. This is the story you hear. This is what I was saying. They purposely don't want black skin, so they sterilize them. Wow. So you know this was a struggle with quite a few state legislatures to keep them from allowing sterilization of women who were on public support. Gloria Representative Mary Miller of Illinois was at a Trump rally this weekend, and she thanked President Trump for, quote, this historic victory for white life. Wow, white life. Historic victory for white life in the Supreme Court. You guys need to watch that video. It was supposed to be for members only, but I made it public for everybody because I came across a tweet, a thread, someone who studied history of women from the 1700s, and she put everything into perspective. So I thought it was a good thing for everybody to see. All right. Her office insists that she misspoke and meant to say right to life. What? Not white life. But her language does track with a strain of thought in the anti-abortion movement that's about race and demographics. Exactly. Will you give us a little more context and history on that? See, that fit into that video that I put public for you guys. Gloria Steinem, there is a proportion of this country that is well aware that first generation of babies who are majority babies of color has already been born, and that means that the country could and will become a country where people of color are the majority. There it is. There it is. All right, then we'll look. This is why they're killing so many black men on the street like that, and people, they go free. All right, they're killing the men. They put them in jail. All right, just look at the system in the U.S. They jail them for minor things. Sometimes they don't even do the crime. They put them in jail for years. Okay, this is the way they were stopping it. They do. Okay, this is where I'm at. Let's take a look for this. This is why I said things always need to be balanced. Throughout all these years, they've been doing that, trying to control how, I would say, the skin color of the country. Throughout these years, how come they're not still the majority? Why? Because nature have a way of balancing things. I've always said that. When something goes, I always show that scale on the ball. When one side is trying to take control of something, the negative effect happen to it. Okay, the ball roll down to the lower part. Okay, nature always needs to be balanced. So throughout all these years, they've been in control. How come things are not working out for them? So what they just did here is going to create another effect because nature have a way to adjust. Okay, nature have a way to adjust. That magnet that I always sometimes put on my videos. Okay, nature wants to go one way. Okay, when human try to stop it, it creates something else, and still it's whatever nature counterbalance what human being are trying to do. It's still whatever nature is creating a counterbalance of, is still to the focus of what nature is trying to do. All right, so that's that. They jail out black men and some women as well for minor crime, and sometimes for no crime at all, for years, and then they're killing them on the street. All right, we know many of that. Look what just happened recently. Joy Floyd and Martin, and what's the other guy from the Somali, I think it was in the Bronx. They shoot him while he has his own thing. Was it his wallet and all of that? So the list goes on and on and on and on. But when you look at things, this is off topic, but these things that I see, I don't have proof to say this is the percentage of that, but I see, one of the things that I see, it could be a counterbalance to that. When many of these people from the other race is being born, there's issues. There's some, let me just leave it as that. All right, let's continue reading. Then will look more like the rest of the world, but if you're white racist, it's obviously frightening. So the same forces that were in favor of the forced sterilization of women of color on welfare are now frequently against abortion. Right? Wow, think about this. And his concurrent opinion, Justice Clarence Thomas said that the court should correct the error of allowing for same-sex marriage, same-sex relationship, and even contraception. Legal analysis, I trust, argue that same-sex marriage is most at risk from this court. James Obergefell, I think I pronounced his name wrong, who brought the case that legalized same-sex marriage, has warned it's in danger. What the hell? But this is the thing with same-sex marriage. You have some people who's willing to give birth but don't want to take responsibility of raising the child. This is where the same-sex people come in. They are willing to take care of another child. This is the balance of nature. This is the balance, whether you like it or not, because they do that thing in their private home. I really don't care. I don't care about same-sex marriages, what they do in their bedroom, even heterosexual. I don't care what they do in their bedroom. But the counterbalance of things that happen where teenagers, or it doesn't have really teenagers, there's adults who give birth but they can't take care of it anymore. They sometimes make arrangement with same-sex couple and say, take care of my child, you know, where I could have a connection with them. One in particular, I'm thinking, I had cable when I used to watch that. It's a MTV show. What do they call it, where the couples give birth and they follow them, and one of them couldn't take care of the child. They give the child to be adopted, and then they still keep connection with the child, with the parents. Sometimes they go and meet and they have time with the child. Things like that can happen. Okay, but forcing, this is the thing, forcing people to have children, or you know, the ripple effect of forcing for the child, there's ripple effect of that. Sometimes emergency abortion needs to take place. But anyway, let's continue. All right, that's where I was. Meghan, how concerned are you not just for women but for other groups who fought to gain right in the US? Do you think this is a canary in the coal mine moment? Okay, that's Meghan. Absolutely. We saw it in plain terms with Justice Thomas' occurring opinion. This is a blueprint. There it is. For reversing rights. There it is. Okay, the ruling is a signal about the future of same-sex marriage, contraception, access, and many fundamental rights to privacy. It feels like the tip of the iceberg. This is why I said it's a roller coaster. Be ready. Brace yourself. Put yourself in that mental state. Create that little moment where you had fun, you were at peace, you were quiet. When you're riding that roller coaster of your rights being taken away, for you to be in it for a few moments, to calm yourself down, and then fight. Okay, and then fight. You're gonna need it. All right, let's see. The ruling is a signal about the future of same-sex marriage and all those same-sex marriage. Was it? There was one. I remember. Is it Judge Boy or Judge whatever? One of the singers who came after Meghan. I forgot what was the issue. I remember talking about him, and I like. Yeah, but anyway, I forgot what I said in that video. But he came to mind. All right, where you know every group. A lot of time, black and minorities, even if they don't, it's not their cause, but they help other causes. All right, same-sex marriage. Look at President Obama, who came around to it. All right, we help you fight your causes, but when it's time to help us, you leave us alone. All right, I think that was the point that I brought in that video. All right, let's continue. Contraception access and many fundamental rights to privacy. It feels like the tip of the iceberg and is part of why people feel so scared. We have to channel that fear into action. We can start this November and the midterm. All right, and I spoke about the midterm, where the primaries for people leading to the midterm who won to be on the ballot for the November and stuff like that. People didn't go out and vote. They didn't go and vote. All right, so I went and vote. I know hearing that feels so repetitive, but we have to vote every time, from local election to state and national election. Okay, editor's note, it's worth remembering that abortion opponents did not win this victory overnight. Yellin adds, quote, they formed the National Right to Committee in 1967 before Vogue, but just after the Griswold case, which legalized contraceptive for married couple, the Federalist Society, which gave legal intellectual heft to the movement, was founded in 1982. These groups and others work for decades to elect politicians who will fill court with anti-abortion judges. And this is where O'Donnell come into play, where he said in one of his segments, one of the most important part when you're voting for a president is for the Supreme Court. Okay, because he's the only one who could suggest who could be at that thing, but he's not the one who put them in there. The Senate have to interview them. Okay, quote, when you have anger, you have to channel that energy into something that makes a difference. That's what activism is. It's about how we show up. So let's talk about what can be done. People ask what they can get behind, where they can make a difference. Is the fight now at the state level, working for new laws and bringing challenges to existing restriction. The Republican knows that. Just look at what the Republican did, and we just need to do the same thing. They already set the blueprint. And then once we get the right that we were fighting for, it's not to stop, it's to continue. All right. And while we at it, we need to put laws to bring back, where the people have to vote for it, not them. It is getting out the vote nationally and electing pro-choice candidates. Where will you tell people to focus their attention? I've been saying this in some of my old videos. Many squad were like, oh, we're not worrying about that. We only care about Harry and Meghan. And this is when my channel was it's still being attacked with YouTube, and this is why I create the backup channel, and then through the backup channel some other topics that many of the squads are not interesting, and I put it there because I feel like they are important. There you have it. Meghan is not just about whatever, I don't know, she's multitasking in many different directions, and this is why I have to thank the UK for rejecting her, because if she was in the UK she will not be doing all of this. All right, so there it is. Nature work out its course. All right, nature learn how to balance things. While I'm thinking of it, let's go back to that. Okay, so there's no copyright here, and I asked YouTube to review it. Okay, so it's being reviewed, and now I set it up for July 5th for 6 a.m. all right, so I'm gonna schedule it, and I'm done with this. While I'm doing this, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate, or you could become a member, or just watch the commercials. All right, so there it is here. It has, that's this one right here, it has the limited here. So it's saying here now, this video is running limited or no ads due to content identified as not suitable for most advertisers. It remains fully playable and is eligible to earn subscription revenue from YouTube Premium. But what I want is whenever somebody click on it, they could watch. Okay, there's the commercials. All right, that's what I want, and I want it to turn to green like this. All right, so this is the restriction. So if I want to, I could let it play right now, but people's gonna see it. I'm not gonna earn money. All right, so that's the key here, earning money from it. All right, let's refresh this. I'm gonna go back to the article, see if anything. All right, 90 people is looking at it and 6 comment. I'll come back to it at the end. Oh, where's the thing? There it is. All right, I was here. Gloria Steinem, it depends where the person is. If they're living in an anti-choice state or with a state that has majority anti-choice legislature, then working politically is very important. If they're in pro-choice state where the clinics are being picked or not supported, then it's important to protect and support those clinics. But wherever we go, we can make clear that reproductive freedom is a fundamental right, like freedom of speech. This is the only one of the two things that these people love, those Republican, freedom of speech and their guns. Their guns, that's it. And everything else, nope. All right, Meghan, it's much a larger conversation about why for years, for decades, we're fighting to get constitutional amendment, but through the Equal Rights Amendment, that makes it clear that women can be treated equally, and how it completely nonsensical that that's even something we're still fighting for. And Gloria, we've talked about her to continue to push that through. I think now it's probably the time more than ever before. Okay, there's Gloria. We are the only democracy in the world that doesn't include women in its constitution. Okay, that's something to think about. I think we should put big billboard up in every airport where people arrive from other countries saying, "Welcome to the only democracy in the world that doesn't include women." All right, this is the thing. They want to control. White men wants to control everything. But when you think about it, with what I just said, they want to control. Look around the world. Majority of them are the one who's controlled the world. But there's chaos everywhere. These people are freaking lunatic. But when you look at countries where women are the president or prime minister, you see the calmness in that country. Things are in order. New Zealand, for instance. All right, when you look at that, what's her name, Jacinda Ardern or something like that. The pandemic didn't even get there. If it did, it was a small number, and they quickly curb it. All right, she didn't let it spread like the US and many other countries, and the UK as well. All right, let's continue. Maybe that will embarrass people into action. All the necessary states have ratified the ERA, and it just needs acceptance in Congress. So if the president made it priority, it could happen. It means that we will be on the same standing of inclusiveness as every other democracy in the world. As I'm reading this, I'm thinking Harry, all right, who put Meghan at the same level as him, unlike his brother. All right, the woman have to walk several steps behind. Okay, editors note the Equal Right Amendment likely as the votes. All that needed now is the signature of the activist of the United States who heads the National Archive of Record Administration, while proponents are calling on elected Democrats to get involved. Opponent insists that the deadline to pass the ERA has expired. The thing is that this is why the Republicans are good at. They like to create chaos. All right, instead of moving forward, all right, they need to send us back to redo some of the things that we want to do. Meanwhile, they're moving forward. They're moving forward with their agenda. So we need to be multitasking while we're going back to fix some of the things, things that were already done, but we need to keep moving forward for things that we need now in this kind of thing. Okay, Meghan, is that an issue you want to tackle? Without a question, being home, seeing what's happening in our country and feeling energized and motivated, if this is the type of legislation that we need pushed through, then this is a moment that I am absolutely going to show up for. Not just because it's what we need as women, but it's what we need as people. Okay, there she is again, GS. The ERA has been ratified by the requisite numbers of states, and we should put the pressure on the White House and Congress to enact it. This is the thing. When you're not paying attention, you will not know this thing happen. All right? Because the Republican keeps on sending you back to redo some of the things that you already fought for. So you will never know this exists. Okay, Meghan. Well, Gloria, maybe it seems as though you and I be taking a trip to DC together soon. There it is. The energizer her. Okay, there's so much stigma around all this. I think it's important to normalize conversation about abortion and women's health. What do those topics bring up for you? Meghan, I think about how fortunate I felt to be able to have both of my children. I know what it feels like to have a connection to what is growing inside of your body. Oh yeah, when this is one of, especially when you plan it. Okay, when you plan it, you feel the movement of the child inside you and all of that. It's a moment to take in. All right, whoever's pregnant, who wanted to be pregnant, sometimes take a moment to take in, because at some point you don't want any more kids. You will go back to these moments. All right, this is that mental moment you need to take to go back to that. All right, so I remember those moments. What happens with our bodies is so deeply personal, which can also lead to silence and stigma. Even though so many of us deal with personal health crises, I know what miscarrying feels like, which I've talked about publicly. The more that we normalize conversation about the things that affect our lives and bodies, the more people are going to understand how necessary it is to have protection in place. When she brought up her miscarriage, I share that with you, and I share my experience as well. So go back to that time. I don't remember what I said in that video. I have an idea, but one of the things that I remember saying to not take it in or to not feel so bad about it is to think that my child, the one that I miscarried, is with my father. My father passed, so my father have somebody to have with in heaven, wherever he is. All right, and the same thing I think Harry and Meghan should think. Maybe Princess Diana or her grandmother is with that child, this kind of thing. All right, to ease the mind, because this thing could drive people crazy if you think deeply to the issue of it, the fundament, especially when you plan it. This is something that could make somebody sad 24/7. So to ease the mind, that's one thing I remember saying, and to ease the mind, put it in that perspective. All right, if you ever had the misfortune of that, not that I wish it on anybody, but to ease your mind, this is the way to ease my mind. That's the way that I put it. All right, this is about women's physical safety. It's also about economics, justice, individual autonomy, and who we are as society. Nobody should be forced to make a decision they do not want to make, or is unsafe, or puts their own life in jeopardy. Frankly, whether it's women being put in an unthinkable situation, a woman not ready to start family, or even a couple who deserve to plan their family in a way that makes most sense for them. It's about having a choice. It's interesting that here you're talking to two women, one who chose to give birth happily, okay, and one who chose not to give birth happily. We're both prospering because we were able to make our own choice incredible. That's a very good perspective here. Very good perspective here. Okay, there's here GS. This is as old as human being. I remember a couple of decades ago sitting with women in Kalahi Desert as they showed me one plant that they use to increase fertility and one that they use as an abortifacient. This is hardly a new consideration, and our Native American culture here too, it was understood. Wow. It's worth saying this shouldn't just be on women. There is never an abortion without a sperm. That's right. What will you say to men who support reproductive rights? Okay, Meghan, men needs to be vocal in the moment and beyond, because there is decisions that affect relationship, families, and communities at large. They may target women, but the consequences impact all of us. This video, now that I'm thinking about, as soon as I edit it, I'm probably gonna put it live. But there's some stuff that I said and some videos that didn't come live yet. Could have been in the one that I just upload and YouTube is reviewing it. I've said some of these things here. It affect men as well. But let's see what she says here. They may target women, but the consequences impact all of us. My husband and I talk about that a lot over the past few days. He's a feminist too. Okay, there's GS. Yes, I can testify to that since I met him before I met you. He was at a big meeting I attend and he was advocating for people's rights.
When I lost my mum 23 years ago, you took me under your wing. You looked out for me for so long.
Wow, there's another side of Harry we didn't know. She said before she met Meghan, she knew Harry was a feminist. So there's that here. Okay, Meghan, and his reaction last week was gutturally like mine. I know that for so many, and I think I bring him in too, where I said he's a feminist, and not only that, that affect him as well, because now he has an American daughter. That's the thing here. I think I brought it in that particular video. Okay, and his reaction last week was guttural like mine. I know that for so many women right now there is a sentiment of despair, but again, we have to band together and not wallow. We have to do the work. Exactly. Okay, there's Gloria Steinem. Also, you and I are in a state where there is reproductive freedom, New York and California, so it's a state-by-state question, and unfortunately the Supreme Court has allowed it to remain a state-by-state question. Okay, this goes back to that video that was for my members only, and I made it public for everybody to see it. This is the thing here, because most of those other states, don't be surprised, they're working hard at it in California and in New York to have a governor, to have a Republican governor to overturn that. Okay, so don't think it's they sending it to the states, okay, because they know majority of Republican states is run by men. And then they know those people who's running those states will not overturn that. Okay, so this is why the Supreme Court sent it back over there to the states. All right, that video explained that. Gloria, what kind of impact does it have when people like Meghan and Harry on this issue, speaking openly about abortion and equal rights and reproductive access, a happy man and woman with a huge public platform? This is why they want to use their platform to make people aware of this kind of issues, and this is why the UK didn't want them there. They don't want the spotlight to issues that they want to put on the cover. They only wanted to use them for bags of money when they want to smuggle money. Anyway, let's get back to this. Okay, Gloria, it's very, very important. I'm laughing at this, that very, because I just read an article, a screenshot where the article said Charles was very happy to see Harry and Meghan and their children. That's why I laugh about that. But get back to this, all seriousness. It's very important because what they both have is trust. We trust them, and nothing replaces trust. That's right, where Harry said it's your character.
But what I remind him is that no matter what you want to be when you grow up, it's your character that matters most. And nothing would make his mum and me prouder than to see him have the character of what we see before us today. You.
Okay, it is the most important quality or attribute. We can see things on television and not believe them or not trust them, but when people like these two tell us, then we trust them. That brought something as well. There was some tweet that I was reading before the Jubilee, and they said the UK said something about they coming or whatever, and I was like, they probably will not show up. They just said they're coming and whatever. And one of the squad, this is why I say I'm not always right. Okay, one of the squad said in the comment section, when they said they're coming, trust them. So that's what came to mind. The comment in the comment section, one of the squad is, I said something in the video, but the comment in that video said when they said they're coming, they're coming. All right, so that's what came to mind. Meghan, thank you, that's really kind. Okay, Gloria, I'm listening to this conversation and I wonder, are you passing the baton to another generation and a new voice to help carry forward the work you've done? There's a video when Meghan was talking to Gloria Steinem under the tree or whatever, and the thumbnails that I have is carrying the baton. That's what came to mind. Okay, Meghan, thank you. That's okay. I just read that. There's Gloria. Well, you know, it's true, though I plan to live to 100. So she is passing it on, but she's still fighting. So that's what she meant by this. Okay, we hope you do. Meghan, you will. My goodness, Gloria, I hope it's even longer than 100 and you'll still be wearing these incredible leather pants. Oh, she has to throw that shade of fashion here. Okay, Gloria Steinem, I do have to recognize my own age. Oh my God, I've said that in that video where even at the beginning of this, where I said, look, they're getting old, but many of them, you know, don't have that same energy. This is why young people like Meghan and many young other people need to get involved. So there it is. I was right. All right. Gloria, I do have to recognize my own age, but I'm not passing the baton. She's keeping it. Okay, I'm keeping the baton, but understand that we each have a baton. There's not just one. There it is. That's right. Meghan, what do you think this moment requires? Okay, this moment requires unity. That's right. Really listening to people, understanding the Constitution was written at a time when women were second-class citizens. We're not. Okay? Again, that video, you guys need to watch it. Certain things need to change. I think it's equally about honoring the people who've been doing the work long before us, like Gloria. There it is. I'm grateful that I'm holding a baton right there next to her and that we will continue to be doing this work together. This is the thing, the egghead and bone, coat hanger could not understand. If they had stood together, can you imagine the popularity of them over there? But no, they putting themselves under the ground. All right. Gloria Steinem, yes, we are choosing family. I feel just as thankful to Meghan for being the present, the future, for taking risk of criticism by standing up for what she believes in and what the majority needs. This is a huge thing here. Taking the criticism. Even as she left, she's still taking the criticism. Alright, she just mind her own business. Alright, Meghan, I always look at things with the undercurrent of hope. If you are someone who truly believes that there can be something better, if you're someone who sees injustice, you have a choice. You can sit there and be complacent and watch it, or you can say, quote, what can I do to get us to the other side of this? End quote. That's another reason why I called Gloria, because I knew what I was looking for. What do we do? How do we do it? How do we support each other? How do we get the necessary changes across the line? What we need in this moment is to start with hope. There's that President Obama thing. Hope. That's the thing here. I think this sort of align with some of the things that I've said in other videos, but this video is gonna come out before it. Okay, I think we need to remember that hope is a form of planning. Laugh. If you're not hopeful, you're giving up. Exactly. This conversation has been edited and condensed. Additional reporting by Thalia. Okay, is that the end? Yep, I read it, everything. I read everything. What is this? The latest episode, Good Morning Vogue. Alert. Okay, so that's it. Let's do a prayer for that. Okay, prayer for hope. Let's say that. Prayer for hope. Hope and prosperity. Hope and prosperity. Okay, prosperity prayer. Give me assurance that as I seek your will, you will bless me with prosperity. May the love of the Father, the tenderness of the Son, and the presence of the Spirit gladden my heart and bring joy to my soul today and for all days, to Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. All right, let's choose an image for the thumbnails. This one is the one that came to mind. Okay, is my sadness prayer. Wow. Okay, quote, Holy Lord, I want so bad to be happy. I am heartbroken and my wick has burned out. There is nothing in my cup and life feels so empty. My soul is beaten down and I am always tired, not wanting to face the day. Yet through your bloodshed on the cross, I know you have won my salvation. Bring gladness and joy to the heart and restore to me the hope of salvation. In your name alone, amen. I'm just gonna leave it as that. All right, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. Oh, so a lot of people are watching this. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate, or you could become a member, or just watch the commercials, or just watch the videos. All right, that's it. And be nice to each other. Put on your seatbelt. There's a roller coaster ride we're gonna go through right now. All right, so that's it.